situation that bankrupts a small daily newspaper in North Dakota. The other thing that I do like about the culture of the Insane Clown Posse, and they're talking about their fan base, is, I like any group of people who totally accepts that no matter what they do, they will never be embraced by society. I mean, if at the meeting of the Juggalos is coming up or whatever, this meeting of if there was like say a big poetry jam there, and like if they brought like in Paget Powell to read from his new novel, and if they were putting on experimental theater there, that was really it wouldn't be suddenly like it's all different for the Juggalos now. It would be like look at those fucking morons trying to read experimental novelists from Florida. That's stupid, and they don't care, though. They don't care about that. They're sort of like, they don't care that Icy Pace terrible rappers. That the terrible, I mean, it's not even really fair to call them terrible rappers because it's so weird. They have that one, like, the song, like, What is a Juggalo? Where they go through all the things that Juggalos do. Like, one of the big things they do is he'll hug you, and then he'll get drunk, and he'll punch you, and then he'll get drunker, and he'll hug you again, But there's one part of the song where he talks about he's going to eat Monopoly and defecate the game Connect 4. Now this is pretty awesome for two reasons. One, the games are totally different, right? But also, the thing that really makes it awesome is it's put into the rubric of things Juggalos do. So it's not like some boastful rapper saying, like, I can do this. He's saying, within our group, expect board games to change through our intestines when we eat them for no reason. Okay, we have one more question.
Okay, how about that person sitting in the back row? Yeah, you. Yeah.
What were your thoughts about Lost, the last episode?
Well, why was there this murmur? I don't know if it's a murmur because it's like, this is going to be long, or it's like, or I've already heard this. What were my thoughts on it? I got extremely upset with people over the end of Lost who I felt took on this weird relationship with the show where they tried to ruin it for people who were liking it. I really feel that way, and it really made me mad. I dropped a bunch of people on Twitter for a while because I felt that they had this thing where they had watched the show and that they had decided that it wasn't living up to what they wanted, but they refused to just stop watching it. And I really feel people who consume culture they hate deserve to be unhappy. I really feel strongly about that because there's so many options now. It's like I'm just not people ask me this because I read about popular culture. They're like, do you watch Grey's Anatomy because you need to know this? It's like, I'm not going to watch a show I don't want to watch, right? I'm going to write about things that I like because anybody can write about things that are bad. That's very easy. Like, I'm going to try to write about the things that I love, and that's much more difficult because love is a distraction. So I really loved Lost, right? And I really enjoyed watching it. Now, did the show put itself in this sort of impossible position where there was absolutely no way it was going to be a closed system? That is very true. That at one point they were not going to explain why when Kate has dreams there's a horse there. Like there was no way they were coming back to that. I was a little disappointed, and I'll say, and here's why. I didn't need them to explain everything, but what I wanted them to do, what I was really hoping for, is that they would have a conclusion that I just couldn't anticipate, no matter what it was, okay? Like the reason I love the end of season 3, when they start doing flash forwards, is because I had no idea that was going to happen, and the fact that they played a Nirvana song while Jack is driving around was extremely deceptive, because I was like, he's listening to like Sentinel's Apprentice or something, and I'm like, well, it must be 1993 or 94 or 94 if I remember. But of course it was a really smart thing, because they were obviously trying to give a red herring to people who were crazy, to like try to. So I was thinking, like, what if I just want the show to end in a way that I can't anticipate, and I do feel if Rob and I and the four of you were up the night before it was on, and we had drinks and talked about ways Lost might end, that we'd probably come up with that one 10 minutes in. 15 minutes in. Now, on the one hand, you could argue that, well, we should applaud the creators of the show, because they argue that the ending was something they decided early on, and that had to be the ending, and then they ended up describing, like Ben wasn't in the room, and that's because Ben wasn't on the original show, and only those characters would be in the room. But I'm not mad about it, it's one thing that has changed about television, and television is so good now. I mean, we're really in a golden age of television. There's never been more, the best show in 1987 or whatever is not as good as the 18th best show now. I mean, shows like Breaking Bad and Mad Men and stuff, those are so rich and the stories are so complex, But what has changed is, because so long, we spent so many years kind of assuming that TV wasn't good, that smart people who wanted to be engaged in culture, the kind of people who are on Twitter and stuff now, the kind of people who used to just like hang out in record stores or in bars and start talking about this, they wouldn't be talking about, the newest Woody Allen film, or like there's a new Talking Heads record, or all these things, They weren't talking about television because people didn't take television as seriously as they do now, because it wasn't as good. Well, now, because of shows like The Sopranos and Lost and these things, people have these conversations every single week, and it's unnatural to analyze a piece of art that way, to analyze something as new and as old and pre-existing at the same time constantly. So people's expectations for a show like Lost become really unnatural. And that's like the one downside to having TV being better, is that people who watch TV are more annoying.
So for you, Lost 8 Connect 4, but merely defecated Connect 4.
Yeah, maybe like they went from like Monopoly to Pop-O-Matic Trouble or something. Where the game was still a linear narrative, sort of. I want to say this she mentioned this before we started. Rob's book comes out Thursday. It's awesome. He's having a release party this Thursday in Dumbo.
PowerPoint Arena. Powerhouse.
Yeah. And are you forcing anything for free?
No.
Yeah, his is free. I really appreciate everybody who paid to come here. I mean, it seems crazy to me that you would pay to come here to watch me talk. I mean, I'm not...
But I also got a copy of your book, too.
Yeah, well, it's $15, so you paid $5. But I really do appreciate it. I hope you like the book, and thanks very much for coming, and thanks, Rob.